Hey everybody, welcome back. So I've been doing a lot of things. As you can see, I'm in my studio working on some projects, just all over the place, but I wanted to drop this Zoom to kind of catch you up with what's going on currently with one of my models. You might know her from the How to Paint a Tiger King. Her name's Ciara. She's a dear friend and we connected through social media, and I thought it was like, you know what? I worked with you a couple times. Let's talk about the times we worked and what's going on with you and your yoga journey. Everyone that's been supporting this channel, thank you. Please make sure to like this video. So smash that button. Thank you for just tuning in, guys. Hopefully this content is satisfying and these Zooms are great. You know, I know this has been a great tool to use during the pandemic. Let's get started. Let's get to know Ciara. Everybody, this is Dro Soul. Bear with me. I am now being joined with a really good old friend. She used to live in Dallas. She used to get painted by me pretty often. She's no longer with us. She's in North. She's northern now. Now I'll introduce you to Ciara. How are you?
How am I?
Of course.
I'm good. Like I said, like you mentioned, like I lived in Dallas for a little bit and now I'm back in Michigan, back in my hometown, my home state, and I love it. I enjoy it a lot. I miss Dallas. Dallas brought me many opportunities, especially you, Drosola. Like I met you through social media and I hit you up and I was like, hey, do you ever need a model? And you reached out to me and you're like, yeah, come through. So that's how we met. That's how we connected.
Yeah, that was the one thing I really liked about our experience. You're like spontaneous and just like with the moment. And it was just one of those situations that like you can read it like, all right, she cool, I'm cool, all right, cool, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, like we made a cool piece. It was just freestyle, nothing planned. And I even had a friend in town, the flight attendant with her coworker. Remember, she kind of crashed the party too.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where it was just a random perfect time to meet someone, and it was like just one of the things that you don't really get to experience as often just because of times and it's not a traditional way, right? But it's I always tell people like there's a couple of people I can always think about like good encounters from social media that I just previously didn't know before. You always pop in my head, and it's awesome because you know, like you meet this whole new person, a whole new lifestyle, and learn much about them. And even we didn't spend as much time together. I feel like I got to learn a lot about you just in the sessions we had, because it's kind of like you get to the point, right? You don't really build yourself up. You're kind of just like,
Yeah.
well, we're here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Originally from the Midwest, Michigan, and I moved to Dallas 2015. Didn't really have an idea of what I was going to do down there, but moved down there on a whim because that's what you do when you're young. You're like, ooh, let me get out of my hometown. Let me experience something different. I had a best friend that lived in Dallas. So she always enticed me by like, oh, she could come visit Dallas. You should see what that's about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so far away from Michigan. You know what I mean? New Orleans happened, was in Dallas for maybe like, I don't know, I would say like 2, 3 days max. And I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it, this, that, the other. I was at that age where, like fresh out of college. I'm like, Michigan, born, bred, this, that, the other. I'm like, yeah, I should experience another part of the area of the state. So I went down there, loved it. And that's how I connected with you. I honestly like reached out through you through Instagram.
When you and I met, we you were going through basically like the that was your first time getting body painted, right? When you
Yep.
came across me, and then since
Yep.
then, what did you what did the idea come from to get body painted? Just the idea.
Yeah, so I've always been expressive with my body. Like I feel like, when you're younger, you always kind of like conceal it or wear a whole bunch of layers when you're growing up.
Yeah.
But I always knew that I'm like, I know I have a body, I know I have hips, I know I have curves. I'm not like the regular person type at all. Um, and when I was in Michigan, I did what do they call it? Nude painting, I guess. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. You model for new for figure painting.
Figure painting, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that's what I did. So once I did that, I wasn't very keen on the idea, But once I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so liberated. I feel free. Like this is expression of art. Like it's not dirty or nasty, what most of the masses think that is. And so I really enjoyed that a lot. And then when I moved to Texas, I knew I wanted to do something more, or if not similar to that. And for whatever reason, I like found you some sort of hashtag or something, and I looked at your profile. I was like, damn, like this is legit, this is dope. So I really just went on a whim and I was like, hey, if you ever need anybody, like here I am.
Afterwards,
Yeah.
what did you take away with that? Like, what was your takeaway?
It was just honestly like an amazing experience to begin with. Like meeting someone on Instagram, that's a whole nother story in itself. But
Mhm.
to actually like know you and know that you're legit and credible, which I like honestly like stalked your Instagram, of course, before I even reached out to you and ever. But like getting to meet you and seeing you in person, I'm like, okay, like we have a great vibe. Like it's honest, it's whatever, this, that, the other. And then you're like, do you want to get body painted tonight? And I'm like, oof, yikes. As an artist, let me say yes. Like, yeah, I want to take this opportunity. So I just went for it, honestly. Like I'm new to Dallas. I want to get to know, honestly, when I moved to Dallas, I really didn't know much about Dallas to begin with.
Mhm.
And it really was just like looking on Instagram and just like hashtags and everything. And I saw you and I was like, wow, like I would really want to exude this and do this. Like I've done life modeling before. Like, what does body painting have to offer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was so, it honestly, for me, so different. Like figure painting, that, like, yeah, like you are nude and you like model for a few minutes in this pose and
You're always
another
moving
few minutes
around, but you
that
move
pose.
around. Yeah.
But when
That's
I met you, I wasn't uncomfortable at all. I remember honestly when I met you the first time, you're like, yeah, come over, this is where I live, this, that, the other. I purposely meant to put like tight body clothing on so you could see it, how my body looked. And you're like, okay, like take your shirt off, take your pants off. And then it kind of like mind fucked me a little bit, but also I was like, he body paints, so why did I not think like this was going to happen, you know what I mean? So of course I obliged, I did it. Like I didn't think, I wasn't uncomfortable by any means at all. I'm like, okay, like, and then you came with me like, so what are you doing later on tonight? And I'm like, I don't have to work, nothing. I don't know, I might have said something. But you're like, yeah, come over a few hours after. And I'm like, all right, bet, cool, I'll be here. And that's how
Yeah,
it all went down.
that that was a cool piece because that was in a piece I anticipated on making. I like that it worked with the shape of your body. You have such a natural hourglass figure, and I just thought like a mirroring of like a landscape, especially like the palm trees. It would complement you, and just that's kind of what came out of the night. You know, it was nothing. Everything just kind of developed as it did, and
Yeah, it was all just like freehand. I don't, maybe you had that envision in your mind, but I had no
no,
idea.
no,
I
no.
had no
That
idea about body painting at all. So I was
yeah,
like,
no.
I was just,
That's
I'm
kind of
here, I'm
the
for
that's yeah, that was kind of the cool things. Like that's why I like stuff like that because you know you don't plan it, and then when you because sometimes it doesn't go the way you want, but then when it goes the way you want, it's like oh hell yeah. So we call that like a happy accident in our community.
it.
It's like
Yeah.
when you do something you're intended, but you didn't really meant to do it that way, but it just happened to turn out. It's the happy accident. Meeting you was dope because kind of like Haley and all these other girls and Bianca and all these girls that I met. It's cool to see y'all and y'all's journey and go. You know,
Yeah.
anytime I paint someone, I learn about their past or their history or who they are, what they're about. And I always like that about body painting. And you were always like a fun one to keep up with because just you're such an adventurous soul. You know, you're like a little you're a nomad, which
Thank you.
you know you
Yeah.
could drop that later. But you know, people can say like, "Oh, energy this and that," but I do go off vibes. I do go off energy. If I don't like someone's energy or vibe around them, I just don't talk to them. I don't tell them like, "Sir, could you back away? Your energy is bad." Like, no, it's just all right. Well, I'll go this way. Like, it's
Yeah.
like that with anyone, and with you, it's I don't think I can ever think of a time where anything. more than laughter have as far as being upsetting or being mad. It's always been good stuff. You know, the cool thing about it with you is we gelled right at the get-go. Like there was like as if we've known. We were talking and hanging like as if this was what we do.
Can I be
Yeah,
honest?
go for it.
So when you're like, yeah, come back in a couple hours, this, that, whatever, I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm the person fit for this, that, the other. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I felt like my body was tensed up the entire time. I'm like, like, but you made it so comfortable. You had casual conversation. Like, it was just like, we've known each other. Like, we're just like catching up type shit. And I
and
enjoyed
yeah,
that the most about you. Yeah, like it's just very
that's
casual
that's
conversation.
what makes a good connection when you have the ability to do that. Like it's not like that with everyone. We do. I'm sure you experience that with other people that you just don't have to talk to them forever. But when you do, it's like I just talk to you, even though there was a big gap. There's just those kinds of individuals that gravitate towards each other, and it's all about the chemistry. We've always had
Yeah.
chemistry, and that's what made me always want to do stuff with you. I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I know I'm gonna have a good time with you. I know it's like, because there are times where I do events and I don't have a say in who these models are, and they're like the biggest divas, and it's like, can I please be done with you? Like, I just want you out of my presence.
Right.
And to me, I always tell people the better I like you, the better your painting's gonna be. Now that you told us a little bit about yourself, where you from, what is going on in the near future? What do you look forward to?
Yeah, it's honestly very open-ended, if you will. I quit my job, service industry, being a server. I think it was just like a breaking moment for me where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I fucking flat out quit, and that just wasn't for me. So there was just like this breaking point where I was like, nope, I'm done. So I quit my job, and honestly, I'm not really certain what's going to happen in the future with me. And I think I progress more well or better, if you will, not knowing the certainty of what's going to happen in the future. Like I am definitely into DNR, natural resources, this, that, the other, being in the environment here in Michigan, because there's so much of it. But also the dispensary industry. Like Michigan is legal here. Um, I know it's not so much in Texas, but there's a lot of opportunity here to progress and move further through that. I just kind of like go with the flow. I'm just kind of a gypsy at the same time. Like just do what I like and move through it. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, don't like it. But I'm very content where I'm at right now.
It's at this point, you as you enter older in your older life, you get in your 30s plus, you start to really think about the long game. And you're like, okay, why not do what makes you happy while you have to do this time? Because we do have to make money, we have to create, jobs and opportunities, but why not do what you want to do? And because once you start doing what you're doing, you follow your dreams, and your dreams is your job, is no longer a job. That's just a fact.
Meeting you the first time and just having our conversations, you just really like mind blown. It was really when you said, you were like, if yoga is your passionate, this is what you live for, this, that, the other, you're not going to hold these other jobs. These other jobs, yeah, might make you rent, this, that, the other, your bills and whatnot, but is that going to fulfill you? And
Exactly.
that's why I looked so, like, I don't know, like when you said that to me, it really just resonated. Like, damn, this guy is speaking the truth. Like, he's not coming from like, I, I don't think you were really working. You weren't working any other jobs when I met you. You were solely an artist. And that's what you said. You're like, I am an artist. So when other people say they're an artist, but they also work at, this at the other company or whatever it might be, you're like, they're not artists. They're not. Like, if you want to be in this 100%, you
Yeah.
have to put your whole grind,
Yeah.
everything.
I just
That's where the
think
starving artist,
I,
that's where the star artist comes from.
I think it's the same if I'll compare this to like a yoga instructor. It's like artist who is an artist treasure and value the word artist as far as referencing someone to that. It's like an on like you don't just throw that word around. She's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, or like just like I do yoga or I'm a yogi. But the reality is
yeah,
you've done yoga once in your life and you haven't since stopped. Or you do it, but you're not an instructor. Yeah, I like when someone says they're this, but they're really not. It's like, hey man, respect the craft, respect what I'm saying. Like this is not something I just throw loosely, you know. And like that's one of those things. Like I do take it personal, right? Because if you don't take personally, you're not really passionate. And
yeah.
but it's how you go about it. It's you have to use that energy to like turn shit into gold, basically. Like take that shitty energy and produce some gold
And it's
ass.
tough for artists. Most artists are very sensitive to themselves, right? And then when you
Mhm.
exude that to a broad audience or the world, have you, and masses of people are talking about your work and this, that, the other, like you take that shit to the heart.
I'm glad that you're doing this. So I want to go through some photos, and we kind of got to just talk about what was going on with the photo, what happened that day, and this is about the times. I think I have all the times that I've painted you. If not, just let me know.
Yes, I remember that one. Yep.
So tell us about this one.
So this was the second body paint that you did. The first one was a free hand drawing that you did, but this one particularly, you're like, come over. You knew a little bit about me. You knew that I was Native American, and you had this idea of doing a Native American piece, and I was all for it. I'm like, I've never exuded that side of my ethnicity, if you will. And you came with me with the drawing and everything and how you wanted to do it, and I was all for it. Damn, I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, I love it. It was an
Yeah,
awesome piece. I
I
felt
was.
very empowered and I just felt very connected with my ancestors, if I'll say that.
Whoa, what is that?
Hey, I love this one particularly just because it took less than, I don't know, like less than 5 hours opposed to the first two, because the first one, it was all freehand. So I had no idea what to expect. Honestly, I really didn't. I felt like such a diva, but also admired your craft and your artistry towards it. The second one, we planned that out. This one in particular, it was for a YouTube channel and it took maybe less than 3 hours. You're like, hey, I'm just going to paint you. It's for my YouTube channel. And I love this one in particular um, because I just saw you step by step going through it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing for people that are wanting to exude body paint or like are going into that realm of body painting and kind of need some guidance or some tips and whatnot. But particularly, I remember you walked down to my Uber because I remember taking like an Uber back to my apartment. And I got in the Uber and I remember her name vividly. Her name was Yolanda. So Yolanda, she was my Uber, Yolanda, and she just kept looking back in her mirror at me, and I kept looking at her, and the only thoughts in my head was like, I could pounce at you at any moment. And I left the body paint on, like I went out to eat with it and everything, and my roommate was not expecting like all the reactions or anything like that, because I mean, it takes like, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes to like scrub all that off, but I didn't want that all off at the moment. I was like, I want to stay out here. I want to keep this on as long as
Yeah,
possible. And I remember going to a sushi restaurant and I just they're like, oh, what is this for? This, at the other, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hand them your card. And I was like,
that's
this is who did it.
hilarious.
Yeah. I think I know what the next one is. Oh, this was the first one. Yes.
Exactly.
This is all you just freehand. Like I think you had an idea in your head of what was gonna happen. I didn't know what was gonna happen my end. I fucking love this piece. I love it. I don't know what else to say.
It loves you too. No, that's cool. You know, it was, you know, when I look at that, it basically reminds me of the day I got to meet Ciara.
That's how we got to meet each other. We kind of knew a little bit more about each other, just getting to know each other. And like, if anybody wants to get body painted by you, it would be an honor. Just you, yourself, like you're welcoming and what, like, you've known my past times or I've done other shit before. And it's like, oh, I went to this person. You're like, oh, you did? I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm new in Dallas. Let me
and that's
explore different news
and
of
that's why, like
everything. So,
back then, even now, because I have a lot of people requesting me to paint them, and even if they don't want to like, even outside of like hiring me, they just want to collaborate. And it's like, well, dude, I gotta meet you, man. Like, I don't want
yeah,
to commit to something, and I'm like, oh, I don't even like
yep,
this person. Like, I don't want to spend all day with them. Like,
yep.
that's what really I'm about. If I can vibe with you, then let's do this one.
Yes, that was the latest one. Real facts about me, I do not own lingerie. So when you're like, let's do a three-piece, I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. Go do it. And look at it. Beautiful.
Well,
And
it
it
came
took
out
maybe like
because probably the
less
fastest
than
one of
3 hours.
it's probably the fastest one
Yeah.
of all. Yeah, because this is where I'm guilty about things taking long. Sometimes when I talk to like Haley or all these other people, and we give these absurd amount of hours, it's like, okay, well, you have to explain some shit. We weren't just doing that the whole time. There was breaks. You know, we were eating. We were like shooting the shit. Things were
Taking your
cool.
dog out for a
Yeah,
walk.
exactly.
They're like,
You
yeah,
weren't.
like,
It's not like I just had y'all just standing there. No, no. But at
yeah.
the same time, that's what made the connection great. It's like, damn, you're really getting to know someone today. Like it's training day, bitch. Like, you can get to know me. I'm gonna get to know you. Like, what's up? Like, let's do this. You know, what do you?
No, was it the first time where your she was a flight attendant and her friend
First
came and
time.
watched?
First time.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that was the first time, right?
that was her second time meeting me in person. First
Yeah.
time we met watching a Ronda Rousey fight, and we handed each other's IG handles, and she just kept her eye on me, and she's like, "You're
Yeah.
interesting." I'm like, "You are too. You're everywhere around the world." She's like, "You paint naked women." I'm like, "Cool." Like, let's talk. And I don't know, man. I guess at this point I'm so desensitized, and
It's a must.
so yeah, so that's what's going on with me, and I'm happy to connect with you. Honestly, I think I'm gonna continue. So these are my kind of like my, they're not my vlogs because I started vlogging. These are my night shift body art talks with my previous models. All right, so I want to say thanks to Ciara for tuning in and coming and being a part of this body art talk. You know, there's a reason I asked it had to be at night. This is the only way it's the night shift. Can't be the day shift, only the night shift. And I want to say, I know you're up in Michigan, but if you're ever in Dallas, please feel free to hit me up. I would love to do another body painting with you, as always. I hope you're journeying towards your yoga adventures and you're just the who and what's and questions of life and what you're meant to be goes amazing. I know it will. It will come full circle. And also, don't be a
Thank you.
stranger, man. I know you got my digits. I got your digits. Don't be a stranger, and just know that you always have a friend in Dallas. And also, guys, she has a YouTube channel. What is your YouTube channel, by the way? You need to tell them about your YouTube channel.
Ooh, oh, right. Oh boy, you really put me on the spot.
Hmm.
Gosh, I it
This is
was
how
definitely during quarantine.
this is how you help someone do something awesome. And guess what? You have some time now to work
Uh,
on it. You got some time.
I do need
So
some work on that one.
tell everybody
But
about your
hey,
YouTube channel, what it's about, and go from there.
so my YouTube channel, honestly, everything that is not yoga related, it's mostly cooking related, which I never thought it would be. I'm up there cooking pancakes, lettuce wraps, what have you, whatever. I was rollerblading during quarantine, doing a lot of adventurous things during quarantine. I definitely will post more videos in the future. Oh boy, Drill, so you would definitely put me on the spot. However, the Instagram handle is Ciara Does Yoga, Ciara Does Yoga. You definitely can follow me there, find updates, this, that, the other, what have you, my life happenings, all that good stuff.
Awesome. And thank you for tuning in. If Oh yeah, by the way, how to paint the Tiger King. If you haven't checked that I'll put that link to check that video features in. And yeah, best of luck with everything. Thank you for being you. And all right, guys, this has been the night shift, and we are out.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Love you.
Bye. Bye.